25 years ago, Raj Kumar and Neelam Nanda spotted a gap in the market for herbal cosmetics. They quit their jobs, pooled their life savings, and built an extraordinary business with their son Sorab. Today, Sorab is taking all of that knowledge and supporting any number of entrepreneurs, all fulfilling their own dreams across India. Join me on this incredible entrepreneurial story.
For every passionate and mindful entrepreneur, the path of getting investors, planning your launch, and enabling business ideas can be difficult. They often need support to help them reach their goals. Introducing Saurabh Nanda, a seasoned entrepreneur celebrated for his triumph with Nature Essence, a skincare brand acquired for a staggering $50 million in 2019. Nanda, the co-founder and managing director of a family-owned venture, has not only expanded Nature Essence's global distribution network to 4,500 B2B connections, 250,000 retail outlets, and 21 export countries, but has also strategically positioned the brand as a mass premium beauty brand in 1,000 shop-in-shops, boasting a remarkable market valuation of approximately 100 crores. Far from just these achievements, Saurabh Nanda has been instrumental in elevating various brands to global recognition through collaborative efforts in recent years. Imagine a seamless shopping experience where all the best products, services, and exclusive offers are consolidated in one place, akin to effortlessly having a personal concierge dedicated to enhancing your shopping journey and brand experience. As he continues to steer growth, Saurabh Nanda has exciting plans for monetization and further expansion. Stay tuned for insights into his entrepreneurial journey and visionary leadership that is shaping the landscape of the beauty and skincare industry, not just for him, but many budding entrepreneurs.
And joining me now on Billion Dollar Idea is the main man, Saurabh Nanda. Saurabh, welcome to the show.
Pleasure, Jasper.
We're delighted to have you here. Now, many entrepreneurs and many guests that I talk to, they absolutely insist that laser-like focus is the key, right? And I think even you've said that you can be the god of only one thing.
Absolutely.
But now you're doing so many things. Can you
Yes.
explain that?
So I create gods, so I clone myself and my partners, and my job is to be first as a HR manager and find a talent who's smarter 10x than me, and he becomes my partner. He's the one who's the CEO of the company, and he drives that business and gives me the joy of experimenting with multiple businesses.
So you're not, okay, I see. So you're not a god of one thing, you're kind of a god maker.
Yes, God maker is the right word.
Getting behind these people. Okay, we're going to get into that during the course of the show, but I want to wind the clock back a bit to the days when you were a carefree high school guy, you're a really good cricketer,
Yes.
the world's your oyster, but you joined the family business. Why?
So, that was a time which was a little challenging for our family, and, we wanted to just make it a very, very, financially independent family. And I took that decision to not pursue cricket, but to join my family. Even in my MBA convocation, I missed my convocation, and I flew down to South Africa to do a show there. And, it's a great privilege to be under my leadership of my father as a soldier, and I feel very, very happy that I contributed. And today a family has sold one brand and is on course to sell one another brand.
Okay, but you make that sound like you didn't think twice. Are you sure no regrets?
No regrets. I'm very joyous in that I have contributed to I've taken a family from an X level to an X plus, 5X level probably.
Well, it's a really interesting story, isn't it? Because it's literally only 25 years ago that your father, Raj Kumar, and your mother, Neelam, right, are sitting at a table,
Yes.
starting a business with like nothing, right?
Nothing. It's not even, they did not even have the money to take a hotel on rent. And the food which went there was also home cooked. So their first distributor which was made with, computerized printouts. We did not have the money to even, have a proper printing done. And that was, he took 50,000 from his wife, that time from a pension fund. My mother just exited a job. And he made that 50,000 into a 350 crore venture in no time. And it's exemplary. I think I freak out when I remember that again.
So Sorab, let's get into the weeds of the business that you're building, okay? So 20-something years, you build up nature's essence, right? You're in nuts and bolts, distribution, you fan out across the country, you go international. How are you taking that infrastructure and that IP and then parlaying that into a platform business?
So what happens is that, that pedigree and that, relationship you had with your distribution, that helps you to get new distributors for your new business, So that pedigree has helped a lot. And every business has a different distribution need. If you are in a mass market, you need large distribution network like Nature Sense had. But if you're in class distribution like Color Sense, we only have 1,000 odd shop-in-shops and 20,000 retail counters. Whereas in Nature Sense, we had 2.5 lakh retail touchpoint, 50,000 beauty salons. So for every business, if it's premium, you need a smaller distribution network, but it has to be very, very powerful in terms of per store kind of a power to invest. Whereas in a massy distribution, you need more products which are more wholesalable, and you need a person sitting in every quarter of the country. So every business, depending on the premiumness of the product, will have a different distribution. But understanding is what matters.
Okay, and it's interesting listening to you because as you were going through the business, Sorab, a lot of these, people talk about distribution like it's a technical thing, but really it's a lot of relationships, right? How did you find building those relationships, in a country this big?
So you have to be a people's person, because when my father also sold, he did not have those fancy, hotels to call people there. He just sold one thing. If you want to be something big in life, join me. If you're already big in life, probably I'm not the person for you. So he basically instilled in two startup people. One were the ladies who at that time in 98, they were having no opportunities. They were practically sitting back at home. So 80% of our distributors in Nature Sense were women. And they were those people who had probably 1 or 2 companies as distribution and they wanted to make a name in the market. So they totally perspired in the whole day. Whereas distribution houses who were manning 1,000 companies, they did not take any interest and they faltered. They just went out. So it is the journey of the brand also which matters. If you are young, you get either the people who want to make a mark for themselves. Money alone will not suffice.
Sorab, I would say, is like the lifeline of our office. Wherever he is, he sparks that energy. Whenever he's around, everyone just gets so motivated to, do their best. So I would say that, he's the driving factor for this entire setup that we have here. Because he's like a go-getter.
I see, and you're also, it's interesting, we were talking to one of the senior JCB guys the other day, and he was saying that they're, on one level they're selling a digger, but actually they're selling a livelihood. It's a bit similar to you, right? You might be selling a whitening product, but you're selling a dream in a way.
So you are as good as your distribution. If people don't make their bread from you, you will not get popularized. So it's like the best form of ad is your distribution. Because when you are feeding 4,000, 5,000 families, they are also being your most positive mouthpieces.
Yeah.
So if you can do one thing for yourself, make a very, very wide distribution network for yourself, and probably ads will be stage 2. They will do the canvassing for you.
Because it's very interesting listening to you, because what I'm getting a sense of is kind of, it's like a chain of enablement, right? Your father, he's like the national grid, right? But you plug into him.
Yes.
The team plug into him, the distributors plug into you. And actually, particularly when there isn't that much money knocking around, it's kind of a people-powered grid.
Absolutely.
That's a very interesting thing.
Yes.
Okay, what we're going to do in the next section is we talked a bit about people, distribution, the history. Should we go and talk about the money?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Let's talk, as I said, Sorab, a bit about money, okay? So the Nanda family started with
Very little.
very little, okay? Later on, you had the great good fortune, not just luck, obviously, to exit the business. You made a bit of money. But are you kind of as thrifty as you always were?
I'm not as thrifty as my father is, but he's one guy who's super sharp with money. I'm learning the ropes of the trick, and I am hopeful that I'll reach there very soon, because till time you get, a free flow of cash flows, I think you have to be very, 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 very frugal. The day you miss your, your cash flow and you miss your liquidity, you are out of business.
Yeah.
No amount of money, no amount of hard work done over the years, it'll just boil down to zero if you can't survive the next day. So liquidity to be maintained at whatever cost. It's more important than life.
And you're trying to get, I think your kind of strapline is 101 entrepreneurs kind of on your platform, mentored and enabled by you, Sorab.
Yes.
But of the 101, how many people are naturally good at cash flows, do you think? Because not everybody is, right?
So they come from a professional background, and professional normally is a subject matter expert. He's a domain specialist.
Yeah.
And to become an entrepreneur, you have to be a master of everything and god of one. So the first 3 years where I am the main mentor for them, I make sure that their learning is 360 degrees. They become from not just being financial people to marketing people to infrastructure people to operational people. It has to be a full hog. You can't miss even one wheel. Otherwise the car will just get derailed. So very important that financial management is the most important thing. You can get an order, but you don't have cash flow to churn the order, it's as good as zero.
You've sort of become like a father figure in a way, right? You're a young guy, but do you quite like that?
Yeah, I would say that, I am an early starter in business. So by this time, by the longevity of my career, I am a father figure now. And I always believe that, I'm happiest when my child is doing well. And for me, my child is my partner. My child is the business they're creating. And I'm there to just back them up.
When it comes to Saurabh, he has been a tremendous support to everybody in the organization. He's super approachable, and the fact that his presence just makes everything lively in seconds. So I think he has this go-getter attitude, and the fact that he can bring out the best in you.
Well, it's interesting actually, because we talk to a lot of family businesses, and when people say 43, they think he's a young guy, but probably there's another 10, 15 years when you were growing up in the business, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I started, at 18. I did not attend college. I was more into business from day one, and even I missed my convocation in my MBA, and I was flying down to South Africa for that, because business was more important than the degree.
Yeah. You're very married to your business, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be committed, otherwise, the life moves so fast and the competition is so stiff. With the paucity of money, the only thing which will make you win the war is, the feet on the street.
Okay, but level with me, Sorab. Do you ever wake up, whether it's in the morning or the middle of the night, thinking, I can't do this anymore?
So there are obviously, as an entrepreneur, you have to be, equally scared also. And I won't say that I am not scared a lot of times, but that is what keeps you inspired, and if there is no inspiration, there is no perspiration, and I make sure I work the hardest.
But do you get scared, right? Because you've sort of answered the question
Yes.
in a business bit way. Do you get a bit scared sometimes?
Very scared all the time, because I'm responsible for thousands of families, so I can't go wrong.
Yeah.
So I have to always keep my organizations liquid, so that they see the light all the time.
Yeah. It's very interesting, and if you think about this, I mean, we'll come back to some of your tips for entrepreneurs, but where do you sort of see all of this going, right? Age 43, you're really, you could do this for a much longer time. What's the bigger vision?
See, the bigger vision is that, once you've created value for yourself, once you're independent financially, you have to give back to the society. And what I'm doing is, the best thing to give to society is not to give them fish, but to give them the art of fishing. So I'm creating people who become efficient, people who can do nice fishing, and they don't have to depend on anybody to get their bread. So I'm creating leaders out there, and these are leaders which are 10x smarter than me in their domains.
And they'll build communities, right?
Absolutely.
And it's very interesting this, because some people give their money to charities, some people have a foundation, but in a way, God willing, your organizations create a hell of a lot of employment, and God knows we need that in India, right? We need employment.
We need employment. If you want to be a $30 trillion economy in the next 8-10 years, we need at least 1 million entrepreneurs more, in the startup space. And I'm hoping to create 100 every 3 years, It's like a school system. 101 come every year. They build the business for 3 years. They give an exit to me and to the investor. The big guys take over, the institutional guys. The next batch comes in.
Yeah, I like it. We had the physics walla on our show the other day, and you're a bit like the physics walla for entrepreneurs. This is like entrepreneur college.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the same college, and that is the only mentorship I can give you.
Okay, right. In the next section, can we talk about India?
Absolutely.
Right. Let's go and do it. Lead on. On balance, Sorab, is India a good place to be an entrepreneur?
See, it's as good as any other country, but obviously the favors and the tides are turning in the favor of India because people are waking up to becoming entrepreneurs. Earlier, when a parent used to counsel the kid, it used to be either a doctor or an engineer. Today, after many exits which have been taken by successful entrepreneurs, they say, okay, go venture into your dream, go venture into your entrepreneur journey. So it's getting popular by the day, but obviously it's early days for us. And people like us, are only helping in fastening the process of the culture of entrepreneurship.
But do you think in a way it's kind of, I mean, like you say, if you'd said I'm going to be an entrepreneur to your parents 30 years ago, they'd
Absolutely.
probably clout you over the head. But do you think the pendulum's gone too far? So sometimes I think these entrepreneurs, they don't know what they're getting into. What's your view on that?
So it's a very, very difficult thing. It's a very fine line between success and failure. Unless you cross the line, you are not a success. So if you have a cockroach mentality, you will succeed. But if you are in a
What's this cockroach mentality?
cockroach is to have the perseverance to withhold the highest amount of pressure. Because pressure will come in leaps and bounds for an entrepreneur. You will run out of capital, you run out of your people running out of the system, you will have a key man going away, the market will just change overnight, the competition will get so stiff. So there are too many levers to it, and if you can't hold on to the pressure and you can't, wait for the good days to come back, I think it's not the business for you.
Can you spot the entrepreneurs that you think will succeed when you talk to them? Do you have a good feel for that now?
Absolutely. Like now I have already 9 in motion and 19 under the works. So one thing I see is that how much of a pressure they can handle, and how much of the belief they have in themselves. If the belief is not there, if they're not proactive, they're not positive, no amount of degree matters to me. One of my entrepreneurs is going to be a peon who's a master guy in creating the best chilas and pudas in town. And one of my business is going to have him as the co-founder there. So for me, it is not the education, it is the belief in yourself and a very, very positive outlook towards life. If you believe that you can do it, you will do it. It's not dependent on your pedigree, it is your willingness to cross the line. And if you have the tenacity of a cockroach, you're the guy for me.
Sorab is a great guy. There's so much you can learn from him. He's had a huge stint in working in the beauty industry, working with his parents, running multiple businesses, and also having done these various exhibitions in various countries. So having that kind of experience is very rare.
Your dad's a man of tremendous focus, will, and leadership, right? What does he think about you doing all of these different things? Is he pro that, or?
So he's one of the biggest backers, and I think he's God to me, and he'll always stay God to me, and I think he can be a God to many followers also, because he has grown from nothing. He was a guy who had no money to build a business of that size, but it was his will and his tenacity and his cockroach approach. In the worst of times, he did not falter. And he marshaled his resources like a top army general, that even if the situation is very difficult, you have to conquer all the odds.
And tell us, we're going to, I could talk to you all day long, and we'll keep talking in subsequent shows, but just go back to you, right? You come across as a very capable guy, you've got a great pitch, I can see why entrepreneurs flock to you, right? But no man is perfect, and no man is an island. As the Americans say, what are you working on, which is code for weakness?
So obviously, the first thing I want is financial freedom for myself and for my co-partners and the entire families. I'm having the luxury of, helping them get a bread on the table. So I'm a very responsible guy in that way, and once I reach that level of financial freedom, then it can be a fun time for us, and we enjoy in bits and pieces. You don't have to go out to a place to enjoy. Peace lies inside you. So for me, my peace is my work. I'm having so many young kids right now, which are my new brands.
Yeah.
So it'll take me some time for a holiday, but I'm obviously working towards that
Well,
grand holiday.
You've got relatively recently, you've got a new addition to the family, right? Your young daughter. At some point, maybe she'll
she'll be a
start
helping
to, or maybe she'll be the person to get you to spend less time in the office, or
Absolutely. And she's again a great artist, and she wants to create a large fashion house, and I'm hoping that, she will learn it during the dinner table, dinner meets and all that. You don't have to learn it through a school. You learn it with experience while sitting with your parents and the friends you have.
And how old is she?
She's 12.
I love the idea of a 12-year-old dreaming about a fashion brand, and it may just be with the Nanda family.
Yes,
that might just happen.
Absolutely.
Should we move out and finish off with some quick-fire questions?
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
Sorab, shall we wrap it up with some quick-fire questions?
I love that.
Okay. Love or money?
Money,
Working out or meditation?
meditation,
Success or failure?
success.
Ferrari or 4x4?
4x4 will do the job.
Batting or bowling?
Batting any given day.
Sorab, you've been a fantastic guest on Billion Dollar Idea.
Thank you, Jasper. Pleasure meeting
Thank you so much. You too, and best of luck.
Thank you.
India needs entrepreneurs, and as many as possible, or the demographic dividend will not get paid. And Sorab, having built his knowledge and distribution asset, is now sweating this asset by enabling the Rajkumar Nandas of the future. This is his billion-dollar idea, and frankly, what better way to repay his father? I'm Jasper Reid, and join me on the next episode of Billion Dollar Idea.